results are very clear to the people of Kenya. Today, we have close to 300,000 houses being built in Kenya. We've hired 640,000 professionals, architects, engineers, quantity surveyors, electricians, masons, carpenters, name them. And the skyline of Kenya today, if you go to any city in the Republic of Kenya, we have 200 active sites in different parts of Kenya. The skyline is changing. But even with that, there are people in court who want to stop it. If we didn't have a professional judiciary, we wouldn't have moved an inch. And the question you ask them is, our Constitution is explicit, as the lawyers would say. Section 43 of our Constitution mandates government to house every Kenyan in a dignified manner. But there are still people who go to court. So what am I saying? I'm trying to say, just imagine if we didn't have a professional judiciary. There would be people who would want to stop us from carrying out our constitutional duty. I would say the same. Even up to now, 3 years down the road, with the houses contracted to 20th floor, 15th floor, there are still people in court struggling to stop. So I can tell any leader anywhere that a functioning judiciary is a resource, is a national resource for development, not just a dispute resolution mechanism. Last week, just to give you what we are also trying to do, that is not necessarily in legal language or in legal framework. With the Chief Justice and other leaders last week, we received regulations and a framework for us to compensate some of the people who were harmed when they were participating in protests and petitions. We decided that, you know, we are a society that must live with itself. And there are things we can do to create a much more harmonious society. And that process will be undertaken. We all agreed as different arms of government, the legislature, the executive, the judiciary, that this is the way to go. Our judiciary actually provided the framework and advised us that this is how you can go about this exercise. And it is creating greater harmony beyond what ordinarily would be matters that can be taken to court and litigated. So that there is room for nuancing, you know, and making sure that we can move together. Let me, however, task you, and forgive me for this, and I have no fees to pay for it. You have spoken very well about what a justice system can do to development in either a nation or even in our continent. And I want to really thank you, Justice Mumba, for your statement. Because it is the case I have been making with our colleagues at the Africa Union. When they tasked me with championing the reform of the Africa Union, I undertook to do three things. Number one is to make the Commission, which is the executive arm of the Commission, a fit-for-purpose organization by making sure that it has the levers and the power to be able to execute what we as the people of this continent want, and that it does so in line with the aspirations of our continent. And the second thing that I really wanted to achieve is to have a working parliament for purposes of accountability. Today, there is a disconnect between the Pan-African Parliament and the African Union. The Pan-African Parliament does not approve the budget of the Commission. It does not approve appointments. It's completely, there. And third and most important thing is accountability. As we talk, we do not have a functioning African Court of Justice. The statute was established. We agreed on everything. We were supposed to appoint the judges last year, but some small technicalities, and you can see there is no real political will to do it. I really want to persuade you, as the Chief Justices of our continent, if every Chief Justice can write to their Ministers for Foreign Affairs, and if possible, to your head of state, please let us have an African Court of Justice. It is the right thing to do. Because as we make progress as a continent, we need a mechanism that can help us resolve disputes quickly. And that mechanism, that court mechanism, must have all the facets: mediation, arbitration, alternative justice, whatever it is. But let us have a justice mechanism. My request to you is, if it is not, if I'm not asking for too much, if you can help me prosecute this one thing, that let us have an African Court of Justice. It will inform our progress and the prosperity of our continent, because as we roll out, and as was said very ably by Justice Mumba, as we roll out the African Continental Free Trade Area, we need a justice system that makes sure that contracts are signed on time and people can build trust in the business that is going to be undertaken between us and every country, and between us and those from other jurisdictions. That is my request of you.